singing it, not knowing what to do. This is the song that doesn't end.
Oh, thank you for that, Johnny.
And it'll go on and on, my friend.
Oh. Happy singing fun time with Johnny and the Foolish Crew. Yay.
Some people started singing it, not knowing what to do.
Apparently Glenn's a big fan.
We are
we
live
live
right now, yep.
What did Glenn say?
He said he was just in time.
Yeah. Welcome everyone to the Foolish Tech Show. Hope everyone's had a good week. It's Friday now.
Yeah. Week. Yes.
Thanks, John G.
Excuse me.
I will give out those links. We'll talk about that and some other things today.
I'm sure we will.
I think we got... Okay. Interesting. Slightly ominous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Continue with your Friday banter.
Okay. Yeah, way to throw us off here. So how's everyone out there doing? And if you're joining us from YouTube or from Google Plus, jump over to foolishtechshow.com or foolishit.com/live. You can jump in our IRC chat. We got a full crowd today. We got Glenn, John G is in there twice. Zombie Worm.
Man, that's a full crowd.
Going.
John G can't even watch us on one IRC log, and he must be in twice. Wow.
Well, I think Nick has some very interesting news.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell them about that blog post that you didn't link to a executable on?
No.
No?
Because I'm not done with it yet.
Do you know that you posted that blog?
I do know that it is public.
Just for the he only gave it up for the doctor visit.
What do you mean blog? You mean the page, right?
No, there's a
page.
There's a blog post that says D7X update, Kill 'em all V5 released today.
Uh-huh.
Hold on, check out my screen here.
And drafts.
No, it's live and public.
Oh.
It came up on my Google Now feed.
Oh dear.
So I'll be sharing it for everyone here, but apparently it's not supposed to be here. Yeah, I thought it was kind of strange that it didn't have the link. I thought you weren't telling us because you wanted to keep it a surprise. But we have some other exciting news. Do we want to say that, or do we want to wait until tomorrow and then talk about it on Monday?
No, we're gonna say that on the show. I've just got to put out this little. I effed up. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Happens to the best of us.
Yep. Happens to Michael all the time.
Yeah.
He was about to agree. Yeah.
And Michael, while we can see you today, you want to wave hi?
No, you can't.
Yeah, we can. I just turned on your video for you.
Stop!
I see you.
Shit!
Stop making that face. It's not helping.
Don't make me click that button again, guys. Okay, Andy's with us. Let's make sure we don't make him feel excluded from our conversations.
Hello, Andy, and Zombie Worm is here too.
Yep. Howdy, zombie worm.
Nick, did you give up the ale?
Hmm?
Did you give up the ale? Zombie Worm wants to know.
Ale. Ale?
Yeah, your beer.
Assuming beer and ale aren't necessarily the same.
Give it up.
I think it's just
Yeah,
a
are you
doctor thing.
drinking?
Oh, but yeah. Yeah. This is actually my first. This is Friday, man. This is my first.
Yeah, Andy, you don't get to actually join in the. I mean, you can type with anybody's welcome to type and chat with us, but unless we have a special guest, we don't usually get them into the video link with us with a mic. You know, maybe talk to us on the side, and we'll see what we can do.
He may be talking about his mic. He just noticed that his mic is foobar.
Oh, I was assuming you were attempting
How is that?
to use your mic to talk to us.
He probably is. I was just saying that it's a possibility that he
And Zombie wants you to write D7X in Python.
wasn't.
That'll go over well, I'm sure. No apologies necessary, Andy. You do what you need to do, and ask any questions you'd like.
Yeah, if you have any questions about our software or want some support, we're more than happy to do that here. So definitely feel free to do that. That's actually why we're here. Otherwise, we'll just end up talking about stuff that we like to talk about.
Yeah.
So, speaking of which, Glenn did post an interesting article that he thought we should probably talk about on the show, and I thought it was a pretty interesting one as well. I'll repost it in the chat for everyone here in just a second. I guess I'm not gonna tighten my knife. Anyway, where to go here? So this is the link Glenn posted. And Andy says, thanks Nick for the email earlier in response to his epic one.
Oh, is he in the thing?
Yeah, he's in
Sweet.
the chat right now.
I invited him to see the thing.
Awesome.
To see the announcement. I'm not going to do it yet, though. I like keeping people in suspense. A. And B, I want to fix up this blog post I accidentally posted earlier.
Okay.
Do a little retraction.
I should have mentioned that earlier when I saw it.
I'm sitting here all day working on other things. Oops.
Not yet, Zombie Worm. I actually have an email composed to him. I'm just tweaking it some. So the link that Glenn posted was the Computer World Yesterday's Technologies, Today's Problems. And the first caption starts off saying, it sounded like a joke. An airport in 2015 closing down because of a Windows 3.1 crash. It's real though, and not that funny. And are similar problems hiding in your company? Well, we know they are with Michael's computer.
Okay, all right. Before you get into that, I want to say that I do appreciate the article, but I do believe it's focusing on some things. Now, I mean, all of what they're saying is absolutely 110% true. There are still these implementations, but as far as some of these things that he mentioned, like anybody running a trash Coco, I mean, that's gotta, I mean, for business, for production, and that's specifically what he's saying, for production, I hardly believe that's the case. Now, are there Windows 2000 systems? Are there probably some VAX VMS boxes out there, and maybe some really old 3.2 Unix 5 prior release 4? I mean, those are all likely out there, but I doubt in production environments at this point. And I would just urge.
I know I've seen ATMs and stuff that do use 95 and 98 still.
Well, and the OS too, and I'm well aware that well, the ATMs using. I thought they were using Windows XP.
A lot of them are, but I've seen 98 interfaces on some of them.
Really? I'd love to know how.
Didn't we just have this discussion the other day about a lot of OS2? There's
Yeah,
a lot of OS2 or something out there in ATMs and related and they're all related NT technologies, but same software.
I would just, I just wouldn't make this. I don't know. I just without having the data of a surveying who is actually using this system, it's very hard to say that how prevalent this problem is exactly. And with this day and age, with all the cell phones and pictures and stuff, I'm sure you would be hearing stories all over the place of, oh, this airport is using.
Zombie Worm says that the one mentioned here was a French airport that did get shut down because of Windows 3.1.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This was, I remember reading the story actually. This was a little while ago, as I recall, and yeah, it's in France, and I'm sure, but I don't think it's representative of all French airlines that they would have that, but it does happen. Whether or not it's a common problem, or as common as this article may suggest, that you can look in any production business and find something like this, I think that's a little overblown. But other than that, I think it's relevant.
Yeah, well, I think it is a big issue because this is actually one of the topics that in our another hangout that we participate in, we got in a big fight with a guy because he still is fine with letting people have XP computers, and we were like, dude, you can't be fine with that and recommending that and calling yourself a tech. That's terrible. That's kind of part of the problem with the various techs out there, is that we don't have a standard that we all stick to and say you don't need to be using XP anymore if you have it connected to the internet, especially. But even if you don't have it connected to the internet, you really probably shouldn't be using that. If you have some program that's outdated and has to run on XP, which, I mean, there's really not that many out there that you can't run on Vista that runs on XP. Which, if you can run it on Vista, you can run it on Windows 7, you can run it on 10, you can run it on 8. There's not a lot of software out there that's completely incompatible with that, and if there is, because it was some specially made software that you paid tons of money for, A, you got ripped off because they made you really crappy software. B, you should probably be looking at investing in some new custom software, because probably from the techniques and the abilities, there's a ton of stuff that's probably improvable. Plus, I'm sure you have issues with that software that's now over 15, 20 years old.
The one mitigating point to all of this, as far as there's a mention in this article about a Apple IIe with 128K of RAM and a 1 megahertz 605 processor with a 80 column video and stuff like that. That's and 2 5.25 inch drives. That machine is not going to be surfing the web, I'm thinking. I mean, so if you're not connected to the internet, then then some of these risks and vulnerabilities are not a concern.
Yeah, Michael.
Go ahead.
Zombie Worm has a question.
Yeah, but
Go ahead.
Yeah, you can type it. There's also the fact, though, of the physical security and the networkability and just the general reliability. I mean, if you're relying on a system that's that old, you're going to have problems if it breaks, because you're not going to be able to get parts. If you do have to get parts, you're going to have to pay outrageous prices for those parts, if you can even get those parts. So those are extremely valid concerns, as even aside from networking, internet security vulnerabilities.
Well, I just watched a movie, and apparently, if you're stuck on Mars, you can find all the parts you need to do just about anything up there, and that's on Mars. I imagine on a planet with a lot more resources like Earth, we would be able to find parts if we needed to scrounge around for some of these things. But
Zombie Worm, you can ask your question. I was just waiting for you to actually type the question so we could ask it, but it's more than fine to interrupt us and ask random things.
Yeah,
we don't
please.
have a problem with that at all.
No.
We're here for y'all.
Don't be
We want
sorry.
questions.
They just avoid me because I'm the only female.
No.
Oh, well. Anyway.
Yes, being the only female in a room full of men gets you avoidance.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
They avoid my voice.
You know, for instance, your Raspberry Pi, let's say it holds up to your grandchildren. Wouldn't you love to like, if you could connect it and use it, then after effectively 2 generations have grown up, I mean, you I think would,
it'd be
I could
great
ask
for
you,
my
is there any reason to throw it
grandchildren.
away? If
It
there's
would
any
be
reason to throw it
it
away.
would be
and-
great for my grandchildren. It would not be great to run my futuristic house off of or my futuristic car off of.
No, but if the
So you
Pi
don't want to
met
do
that
things that
reason-
are.
I
like,
mean, I'm just saying, if
severely
1 megahertz
relied
is
on.
sufficient, if 1 megahertz is sufficient, throw in 1,000.
I'm not going to
megahertz,
run my
that'd be-
bionic body off the Raspberry Pi that I got in 2015.
If you could, though, if that's all the processing
Mhm.
power you needed for the function you were doing it for, there might not be, like for instance, the Amiga running the AC systems for 19 schools. If the Amiga isn't connected to the internet, and it's working, and if it's just because, well, we're just waiting for it to die until we bring in, we'll have to replace the system and spend, the money, then I don't think that's the end of the world. And I mean, it's not going to harm anyone.
I don't see why you would. I mean, if they're using it in schools, what are they training people? This is what we did back in the Stone Age?
No,
They still
it's
use
just
tablets
it's not
and abacuses?
used. It's just running reliably, probably for decades. And why
Doing
not? If
what?
it's still working.
Doing what, though?
I don't know. Power cycling the AC system, for all I know, on a timer or some stupid trivial task.
Oh, I'm sure there's not better, more energy efficient applications and devices that do that far better. You got to remember, these things aren't designed like with energy
I know,
efficiency.
but if you're talking
either.
about using something until it dies, or right now spending $5 million to get something replaced, you're probably going to use something till it dies.
and
is
then
my
spend
thing.
$5 million to get it replaced?
Well,
That doesn't make sense.
and then when you have to, but if you can possibly get another 10 years, if it holds up for 10 years, that's a bet worth making, I would say,
Well,
for the school districts.
I still take it back to, it depends on what applications you're using it for.
Yes.
As far as their need and sustainability. If it is just something that's power cycling and you've done the math and found out that the
That's all.
yeah, I do have
That's
a way
all I'm
of
saying.
winding Michael up, Zombie Worm.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying, though. You said it right, Brantley. Thank you for.
I still don't agree with that, though.
No,
still
you don't
think
have
that
to
you
agree,
should.
but yeah.
I think it's ridiculous if you're still using it for outdated applications.
And I do
There's so
too.
many
I
reasons
do
not
too.
to.
But I wouldn't.
Anyway,
I wouldn't
all right,
want to throw
all right,
away any
Zombie
of these
Worm did type
technologies.
out his question, and he has a really good question.
Okay.
Zombie Worm asked, last time he programmed in VB6 was back in 2005. Should he continue with VB or try out Python? And he was directing you that
Python.
at you, Nick.
Python, unless you're trying to write tech tools, and even then, that's probably smart. Actually, Python is probably one of the better things that a new programmer can
That's
go
what I've heard
into.
too. Yeah, that's what I've heard
Yeah.
too.
I started with Python actually myself. I went to Visual Basic 6 for other reasons, but
I was going to say
I like
it really depends on the applications that you're using for that too.
yeah, it does.
Yeah, you want to take that into consideration, but there's nothing. You say, should I continue? there's nothing wrong with continuing VB, and just understand that in a modern VB requires
I use Visual Basic. I did not even consider Python for a couple of reasons, but the lazy one, and none of them were really that good. Other than just not having Python already installed on people's systems when you're trying to do tech work, but which is
if
whatever. But
you can use it in web-based applications though really well, can't you?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure
It's been a while since I've kept up with it, but the thing is that I would have stuck with it had I not needed really and been just been in a hurry to do what's rapid development, which is what VB6 was designed to do. It was designed to give you all these menus and things that you could drag and drop to create your little interface. It looks like junk, like a lot of my stuff. And then, unless you put a lot of work into it, you can just use drag and drop stuff there, and it looks kind of generic. But that's just for rapid development. So you can focus on the code under the buttons instead of the other stuff. Now, there are a lot of other quote-unquote rapid development things in Visual Basic 6, which are like, I don't know, the internal commands or whatever. I don't use those. Use the learn the Windows API if it kills you. And doing it from Visual Basic 6, I will say, is a little bit more difficult than .NET. It's probably a bit more difficult.
I'm having to
even
learn
using straight up API.
It kills me.
Is probably more difficult, and the biggest thing is data types. Visual Basic 6 does not have certain data types to work with that newer languages use.
Or they're different.
Hold on.
They're not the same.
You can work around that. There are ways to work around that. You can do anything in Visual Basic 6 that you can do in any other language. You just have to know how to work around it.
Yeah.
And it's second nature now after Kill 'Em All, but it's been such a pain to figure out so many things.
All of the languages have
their
own caveats too.
Yeah, they do. They all do. So, but yeah, I could actually talk about that, but.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
VB6 is definitely not Studio/.NET. That is actually a little bit on the easier side, but I mean, there's been times where I have had to refer back to Windows API, and Nick has already done it and forced me to that. So
what he's not seeing a lot of yet with the nature of crypto prevent, but he will with other things in the future, is that .NET makes it the internals, the built-in stuff. It's designed to prevent you from interfacing with the APIs directly. It's designed to make things easier, supposedly, but from a security standpoint, they make certain things harder or completely invisible or put up a layer of, and it's always yet another function that calls another function in the framework that actually does what you would be doing directly with the API. They take stuff away from you when you use those methods, and it doesn't really matter for the vast majority of developers out there because you're not repairing computers.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, there does definitely, and these are managed languages that we're referring to, the Studio.NET/thing.
And you've got to worry about .NET working.
Yeah, and so there's
that has gotten a lot better though.
You have to have dependencies, and but the managed code there's nothing to say you can't access the API directly in using .NET, but they do everything in their power.
You
can. What? Yeah, you can.
Well,
you can.
And as we've found discussing,
tell you not to.
As we found discussing back and forth too, it's like Nick said, it is just I'm using one phrase to call the API with that phrase. It's just going through the .NET framework to make all of those calls and code.
And with all those calculations comes additional overhead, additional requirements, dependencies, and in my opinion, a whole lot of room for them to pretend to make you think you're doing something you're not, or vice versa, or whatever. Because with all the things that Microsoft does, such as oh well, we don't like we don't want 64-bit programs and 32-bit programs in the same program file, so we'll make a program file as x86, and then we'll make a WoW 64 for DLLs, but we'll make it really confusing and call it 64 when it's really 32, and then they're just going to keep on doing things. But when you try to reference System 32 from a from a 32-bit app, you're going to get syswow 64 on a 64-bit system unless you know what you're doing. Yeah. And you can't do that with you're using the framework like that.
It does require a whole lot more testing. I'll definitely say that. Yeah. That's part of the thing that's holding up Crypto Prevent right now, is I'm having to test it through those various different methods.
But I think for other reasons it's good to get Crypto Prevent moved over. But then again, the Crypto Prevent being different from everything else is that it's supposed to go in your system when it's already working.
Yeah.
It's supposed to keep it that way.
Yeah. And I think it will definitely do a good job of that. Now, the other thing I would like to point out is that the newer Studios / .NET stuff, you do get a much nicer Visual Studio. The Visual Studio V6 is terrible.
But if you've already started on the VB6, you're not going to figure out .NET Studio. It's going to be like, well,
Yeah, it is a lot different. But, I mean, if you're looking at Python, honestly, that's one of the bigger ones to learn, especially out
Man, is there like a Visual Pi or something?
What?
Rapid Development Python? Is there like a Rapid Development Python, a Visual Pi or something?
No, I think basically the aim of the language is to be kind of as simple as possible to make it easy to rapidly develop.
Yeah.
Kind of like Java. They got a lot of the stuff there for.
Well, when I started, like I said, I started with Python. I didn't stay very long, but they didn't have easy user interface, things. I mean, you're writing in Notepad, where's the drag and drop of.
I think it's come a long way since then too.
It probably has. That's what I was asking.
4 or 5 years ago.
You can probably just type message box.
I'll say this, that in a lot of the hacking stuff, no, I'm not saying Nick is simple. I'll say that in a lot of the hacking stuff and like the Linux-based stuff and adding on to hacking packages, that they do use Python very heavily there. So there is a lot of positives to using it. So, I have something else that I thought was a really extremely good topic that was brought up, and it kind of relates to what Glenn posted there, but kind of opposite side of going into the future, which I don't know if we've even talked about this really, because we kind of we know that Windows 10 is going to be software as a service, but this article was the first one that really came out and said, hey, what happens after the free year? Does that mean that you have to pay for Windows 10? So like, did we just get upgraded to Windows 10 for free, and then once they go pay, we're going to have to start paying for it? And apparently Microsoft isn't giving any answers to that. So that's a little bit more worrisome.
This sounds like
So they forced all these people to upgrade to Windows 10 so that they can start charging them next year is a possibility. And Bobby Worm saying that he thinks they will go with that.
As they were saying, in version numbers, they've been preparing developers for a while to never test for the version of Windows, to test for the feature that you're trying to use in Windows to see if that's available before doing something. So the version shouldn't matter depending on and the way they will apply updates and this and that and the other. And it makes sense. It's a big beast, the OS. But you went to a developer, when you start to learn, wow, all this stuff that's out there that you're exposed to. But what was I talking about?
Windows 10 being
Windows
a big
10?
beast.
Oh yeah. I forget where I was going with that. I had a point, and then I think I talked myself out of it.
Yeah.
Oh, they've been preparing us for a while about that, and so because of that, and now you've seen they've been doing recently, in the press about how in the public about what does it matter what we're calling it, and even though it's Windows 9 and it's actually 6.3, or 4, it's supposed to be, I think, or whatever, but so now they're just taking that all away. They're just like, what's in a number, which is what we're doing, kind of anyway. But I mean, what we've done, but D7 too, and now D7X. But it's what they're saying is that this is they're kind of moving from a team viewer model in the remote support department, for example. They're kind of removing from like a team viewer model where you got to buy that new version every year to something where you just something more continual. But I don't know. I mean, who can?
I mean, I'm fine with it as long as they don't go to the Office 365 subscription base where they're going to cut off my OS access if I don't pay for it. Like if I just get this version and I don't get updates, I'm all right with that.
Hey, for real, I'm all right with the black background and your copy is illegal bit on my Windows 7 virtual machine because I don't want to reload it all the time and rearm it with or sysprep or whatever. Even I can do that through D7 with one click.
Well,
but
that's the other side of it is they're trying every tactic they can to force Windows 7 and 8 to upgrade to 10.
Well,
like,
they can, but look what they still do with it is what I'm saying is when even for a pirate when it's bad, they still let you use it. It's come on.
No, after 30 days, it automatically logs you out. After that.
Oh really?
Yeah, you get that message and then you click OK and it logs you out.
Do I wreck all my VMs before 30 days? Well, if I rearmed them 4 times. If I rearmed them 4 times, then I would have another 30 days. So I would potentially have 5 or 6 months of uninterrupted Windows usage.
Yeah. But I was going to mention to you, and I've already done this to my Windows 7 VMs, but turn off your automatic updates because they're about to make the Windows 10 an automatic recommended update.
We should throw out a patch for that.
Yeah. Well, they have a program out there for disabling the Windows 10 update notifications, and Microsoft is going and messing that to the point where it apparently is checking daily to see if that's been changed and turning the Windows 10 upgrade registry item back on. And the guy's like, I have to figure out a way to get around that because it apparently does it every day. And
hey, can I say something?
Yeah.
Makes y'all sad for leaving Windows XP, don't it? I swear. Because they're in good right now. And we're still supporting XP with our products.
Vista's still good.
Yeah. Is Vista still good? They don't get that up. Well, it was never good. It was never good.
NetHunter's actually watching. He's not in the chat right now. I think he's working.
Oh, awesome.
He said make a patch for that in Windows 7 and we'll get a bunch more people to our site.
Well, I'm pretty sure we would, but it's been done.
Yeah.
Sure, already.
He also asks, should he go back to Windows 7 from Windows 10? And honestly, I'm gonna play it out and see where it goes. At the worst, I'll go back to Windows 7 when it comes. So.
I know, right?
If they end up going subscription and blocking my OS, I'll just reload it with 7 and be done.
Yeah, well, actually, and at that point, I'll probably just move to the Chrome OS.
I'm in agreement, though. Microsoft, you know, it's not just, I mean, just agreeing with the Forbes article, but this has been something that has been discussed both at my school a little bit and a bunch of other circles, and yeah, everyone seems to believe that Microsoft has no chance of a future unless they give their operating system away for free forever with no time limit.
Well,
So
actually,
software as a service thing is
that
only going
article
to
says that Microsoft has no chance at a future if they don't charge for Windows or have at least 2 billion people on, or a billion people on Windows 10. Because right now their revenue model is not going to sustain it.
No, exactly.
They're
so
gonna start running out
the,
of money if they give Windows away for free.
so they have no option to do what you were suggesting, whereas they would have a cutoff date and then start charging people.
No, that's the option they have, is they would need money, so they'd force people to pay if they want to use their stuff. And they have, I think, still 90% of the world's computers running on Windows. People are gonna pay.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think cell phones.
Not as many of them are just gonna reload and use Windows 7 again.
There's
We're an elite crowd.
I'll be honest. I'm not trying to be a douche or anything. I'm sorry, but I would pay. I mean, as long as it was a reasonable price, because I understand. I mean, it's, you know,
Microsoft. If you look though, everywhere else, Microsoft
if I'm using
is
it,
sourcing.
if I'm using
all
your,
their
if I'm, you know, and I use, I don't know, I make my living off of your work, you know, off of my own work, but thanks to your work. So anyway,
Microsoft
and maybe
offers a
lot
Linux
of
certification. Microsoft offers a Linux certification. If you guys didn't know,
Yeah.
Microsoft
actually,
also. So Microsoft is also open sourcing.
Michael, are
has
you
open
trying to
source
say
.NET.
that this is going to replace their primary means of revenue generation?
Yeah, I believe they're trying to move to a model much like
Have you checked
Google.
their stock price lately? It is
No.
nowhere near Google or Apple.
I
And
know.
They're
They
still primary
realize they're
source of
panicking, and so they know they have to make a change.
They're
and
not going to
that
make their
change
money
will
off
never
making
exist.
Linux certifications, though.
Okay.
And
Well, I just
Google
want
isn't
to. I'm
doing
not suggesting that,
certifications.
but I'm not suggesting that the certification is the way to it. I just thought it was interesting that they're offering Linux certifications. You know, that just besides the point.
No,
But
it's just crap.
Their Windows Phone is supposed. That's what they're going for with Windows 10, is unifying all the operating system or all their devices. So Xbox, Windows Phone.
You know, if they're smart,
Surfaces,
if they're smart, they'll work their butts off at unifying Windows and Linux somehow, or making some part of Linux or some version of Windows. You know.
Yeah. Well, no, I've always said that Microsoft should have their own distro, and they would be fine going forward into the future.
that would be great, and I wish they would embrace those ideas. And I think
they
that
could
that's
make
what they're moving
wine.
towards.
They could make wine where it's really not an emulator.
Well, yeah.
If they provided source code from Windows to Wine, we'd have Windows programs running on Linux with no problems at all.
I'm just suggesting that anybody worried about having to pay for a Windows operating system moving forward is going to.
Glenn said, if Microsoft were smart, that's the best oxymoron, Nick.
Dude, it's a collective bunch of a lot of people who haven't always been in the best decisions and the best leadership, but it's always changing, and look who they got now. And what the things that they're saying and the things that they're coming out with. They know they need to change to survive. So, and that's subscription OS model in addition to adopting Linux support and technologies and other things like that. So.
It's not going to be subscription OS. It'll be subscription other things. It'll be Office subscription or something else subscription.
Well, and you know, in all likelihood, what it'll be is the OS is going to be free. It'll be parts of it.
Yeah.
That you're paying for on a subscription basis.
Yeah.
But
well, I think they'll at least give you the base Windows 10 for free, and then every option.
Well, yeah, they're going to want that.
Going to pay for it. Yeah.
So their platform persists.
Yeah. But that's not currently the stance that they're saying they're taking. Is that they're saying they're going to charge you $119 for Windows 10 Home.
Listen, Microsoft, it's impossible for Microsoft to be able to suggest that, oh, you didn't turn on your computer within a reasonable amount of time to check its activation, so it's going to stop working. So that means if I took a computer and maybe I went overseas to fight in a war or something, and then I come back and I turn on my computer, it doesn't work. Microsoft can't do that. So they're always going to have to be in offline mode, and they're never going to
Why are you saying that they can't do that? Why couldn't they do that?
No,
well, he's not speaking.
So how many computers just break because you haven't turned them on in a while? How many?
He's not speaking in the. Oh fuck. Anyway, he's not speaking in the terms of like what the government can do. He's to us when we involuntarily. What he's talking about is what they can do without massive public outcry. Look what happened to the SkyDrive revoke when they took away their.
Exactly.
They can give it right back.
Yeah, they gave it right back. So that's and that's
you gotta opt in for it now, but that's the compromise.
Yeah, yeah. So you know that's. They're not gonna do that. There's gonna be loss of confidence if that would happen. If some whole office went one day and turned on their computers and they couldn't have access to their data, there would be revolts, and essentially exactly what Nick said. It would be turned around and reversed in short order. So I don't think anybody has fears to really.
Or maybe Microsoft is just seeing how well the ransomware is paying off, and they're just plotting their massive ransomware net. Windows 10 is just ransomware. Everybody's going to turn on their computers one day and be like, "Oh, you want your data? You'll have to pay us hundreds of thousands of dollars."
That is a killer analogy, though.
It is. And well, I mean, you know, if they did have a successful business model that they wanted to mimic,
oh man,
doing well enough for those guys.
Is that going to have to be a crypto prevent warning box?
Yeah.
We've detected Windows 10 on your system.
This is known ransomware.
Alright, well, I think we've spent enough blabble on that. So, this is something Nick found out today. Wasn't that today that you were talking about? Fuller House. Here's the teaser
Fuller House
from Netflix coming out. So,
is it F-O-O-L-E-R?
F-F-F-U-L.
I know how it's
Fuller, F-U-L-L.
But I was ha.
Yeah.
Can't I make a joke ever? Is it killer? It would kill you all to laugh at a joke I made.
No, it wouldn't. But we're still not gonna. So it's gonna have the original cast, I think, or a bit of them. And I was just telling Bradley if I haven't really looked into it, but if they have Bob Saget, I will watch it just to see if he comes
there.
If they can they put him on? It's on Netflix. He can curse. If it's Netflix, he can curse.
He's a nasty dude. He did some stand up talking about boning those Olsen twins or something. Not like he was doing it, but he was saying something about, and it was like, whoa.
The teaser, if you watch it there, does not give you any indication of the cast, nor does it give you any indication that they will have cursing on the show.
What kind of teaser is it?
It's definitely more of a show like Full House was originally, so we're not going to see Bob Saget talking about him wanting to
bone the kids.
Why not? Children.
Oh, and it takes place in San Francisco again?
Probably. So, something else here, VLC is now available on Chrome OS.
Oh, you know why?
Yes!
Because of the Android port. Because of quick Android porting.
Yep, it is going through the Android runtime.
Yep. That's the reason why it came there so quick. I thought that's interesting. That's very good to know that the Android emulation is workable enough for that.
Yeah, so they're definitely coming up quick on that, which they cannot come up quick enough to have all of the Android apps running on Chrome OS. I think that will take on Microsoft very quickly, especially if they start throwing more RAM in their Chromebooks. Jesus Christ, 2 gigs of RAM kills me.
I know. What's that about? But I think I have 4 in mine, but it's the desktop one. I got the Asus one, but that's the only reason why I got it. I wouldn't touch one before. I was like, I mean, really, I understand the lesser requirements, but
well, and I understand too that they're aiming at people that don't use like 1,500 tabs like we do as heavy power users, but still, I like the Chromebook idea. I am a power user, and I want to be able to use it with power.
It would be nice to have use a Chromebook with power as a power user. That would be cool.
Something else for the Raspberry
can't you just
Pi.
like put that on your own system though?
You can use Chromium, which is the open source version of it. It's I mean, you gotta, like, whenever an update comes out, you have to reload it completely. It doesn't have an update system.
The thing I liked about, and I will just go ahead and repeat, the thing I liked about this, and I'll just go ahead and repeat, is that I loved it. The first Chrome experience I got was I got this Chromebook little desktop with 4 gig, but I plugged it up and like everything just worked, and it was nice and friendly, and I have to wait 20 minutes for stuff to happen. You know, it just asked me for my email, and I was ready to rock. And there wasn't all these apps on the thing, and the bar like there are now. There was like a good 5 or 6 there, but before there wasn't nothing, and there was one thing, but you know, it just kind of downloaded all that stuff and just popped up, and it didn't nag me or anything. It just did its thing. And I had some issue with a video camera or sound card or something, but yeah, I had some issue and it just fixed itself. I mean, I was like, I literally let it be. You know, and then I was like, I got involved with work for a few days, and then I went back to the Chromebook, and it was just working. And I was like,
let's go over that story a little bit more realistically. Nick set up the Chrome OS.
That's what happened.
Then he was yelling and pissed off at it. Then he just let it sit there. And he came down one day, and the kids were on it, and the sound is magically working. It just fixed itself. Well,
the kids were on it when the sound had magically worked and just fixed itself, but
more likely the kids knew how to fix it better.
I'm serious, man. I'm serious. They didn't.
I know.
But it was still. So I know you had something else. If you want to just say real quick, if we can't talk about it, we're almost done with the show, and I did want to talk about something I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I just had the other link there. I did have some other ones, but we can go over them on Monday.
Okay.
Lifehacker had an interesting article about the new Raspberry Pi Zero and making your own little info machine. I thought that was a pretty cool idea for that. And I was going to go over the Cubes OS, but I found out that you can't really install it on a virtual machine. I'm guessing because it's such a heavy reliance on being that it runs virtual machines itself. So I was probably going to test it out on a laptop, but there's not really a good way to show you that stuff. So we may go over it more in depth when I play around with it and try it out. And Zombie Worm asked if I've tried the Kindle as a monitor for the Pi yet, and I have not, nor have I heard of that even. That sounds pretty cool, but I don't have a Kindle, so that would be the main reason I haven't done that.
It's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Nor would I pay for one of those. It's just a limited Android tablet.
Oh, by the way, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go for it.
I completely forgot what I was saying. What I was going to
by
say
the way.
anyway. Yeah, I was just going to interrupt, and you know, I feel like, I'm sorry.
No, that wasn't me. I don't need to talk.
I know it wasn't you for a change. Michael, we appreciate you. You know that.
Thank you.
I will check that out, Zombie Worm. It is interesting. I do know other people would have Kindles and may want to know or use that. So, Nick, go for it, man. Talk about what you wanted to talk about. Cause
waited to the very end.
Alright, so check it out. I want to give it up to Spice World, Austin, 2015.
Yay.
We will see you in 2016. Big announcement we just announced. We're announcing we're going to Spice World again next year, and we're going to do some more ads with Spice Works next year. And I'm actually going to look forward to. That wasn't the announcement.
That's not the announcement.
That's not the announcement. No,
Oh,
the
what is
announcement. The announcement is we wanted to give away something really cool for Christmas this year, and we were thinking about a good sale, right? And I don't think we ever even came to any consensus on a sale. If you guys want to do it, let's do it. But maybe we should do it this weekend, and we'll put it all out in the same post. But I don't know how much going to happen, because what we've decided to do is give out a nice Christmas gift for everyone this year. And before I tell you exactly what it is, I'm going to back up a little bit with just a little story.
Everyone
Thank
gather
you for that,
around
Bradley.
for story time.
Thank you for that, Bradley.
You're welcome.
You have sound
No,
effect buttons now? You have sound effect buttons?
No.
No, but we do have buttons that turn on your video. See everybody? See Michael's smiling face?
Stop it. Guys, let me go pee in peace.
That's true. We can do that.
NetHunter says
We have-
he is
let me do it,
looking
let me do
forward
it.
to Spice World.
All right. Let me get this thing. You can win Nick's cat table thing. My cat table thing. All right, fine. Oh yeah,
The
that
thing behind your head.
the thing behind my head. But no, check it. Okay, so we grew a lot. I did D7, and that made Foolish IT, and I brought on help, my friends, the people I knew that I could trust and help do things right, and they and now there's 6 of us in total, all working all the time, and really, and it is it's kind of cool. But the problem is that we're at a level where we have to charge a certain amount for our products and things, and as we work on new ones, we'll have to do that. But I guess the thing is that we've priced ourselves like originally D7 Premium, the original D7 Premium. Man, brings back memories. It started off, I don't know if I started off at 35, but I think it was $50. I'm not sure. And originally it was just for branding. It wasn't, all functionality was there. Am I? Hang on a sec. Do I sound better now?
You sound
Or
about the
did I
same.
sound bad?
You sounded
Oh,
fine.
okay.
Same.
Okay. Something happened. I don't know. Anyway, so it was good, and it was really affordable, and all of my tax, or so I thought, but most of them were, and I don't want to say pizza tax, and not in the derogatory sense, and that's just what a lot of people would say, but what they really are the guys, the one-man guys out there doing it, on their own, because I was one of those guys. And not my entire little career as my 12, 13-year career as a PC repair technician, but I did do it for a bit, and I know it sucks, or it can. It's so you don't want to be spending a lot of money on tools, and we've grown past a certain amount of people can do that, because there are dudes out there who, and no offense to you whatsoever, but when I was one man in it, I would go 2 weeks with one job sometimes, sometimes more. It better be a good one. Every once in a while something golden came along, and I got like maybe something with a server involved, or something needed a few trips, and maybe a nice little office or something. Every once in a while I'll put something on the table for a bit, but sometimes you just don't have that. It's not about it's not just about the guys who are just doing a job a day even, and having troubles. So anyway, D7 Premium was awesome, and it's got problems. Yeah. Zombie says he totally relates to that. Some weeks are manic and others really quiet. And he loves the earlier D7. Well, the thing about it is that we're doing D7.2 now, and we're about to do D7X. D7 development was discontinued in January of 2014, which is coming up on 2 years. Or I'm sorry, 1 year. 2 years. And the time flies. And one to job a day is Slack. Yeah, donut. Oh, I am. Hang on.
Show that off. Show that off. Show it off.
Check that puppy out. Check this puppy out. I had some issues. I work 80-hour weeks on average, and I had some issues. So I've been to the doctor with urination. But anyway, I got 2. You never know when you go. I'm a big guy. I can wear one out. I'll swap them out every once in a while.
Jesus.
Thank you, Zombie Worm.
That was actually the intent. That was actually the intent, but the one I got, I haven't actually done that yet. I haven't tried the spinopedic. I haven't tried the spinopedic for the Zen Comfort. But I did some research, and they said, well, when you have a prostate issue because you sit too long, don't get a round donut anyway. Get a good one. So there you go.
Thank you, Zombie Worm, for completely
not a
ruining the good story.
Zombie Worm really ruined the good story. Thank you. That's what you get when you. This is what happens. Is you can affect the show when you join us in IRC.
Yeah.
Available at foolishtechshow.com and a web interface off to the side. It's like rc.foolishit.com, colon 443 if you want to do that.
What do the Tories have to do with shapes?
And he loves Proctor, and Proctor's not even here. But anyway, he's got a child thing tonight, and I do too. As soon as the show's over, so I want to hurry up with this. But to finish my story, we want to do that. We want to give back. There's a lot of techs out there that made us popular, and we did kind of grow out of the pricing range. But we have to make a living, and like I said, there are 6 of us. We wanted to do something really cool for Christmas this year, and it was kind of a rough end of the year. It wasn't like everything's great. Don't get me wrong, but the growth actually it was like, wow, grow, whoa, plateau, and kind of, and it was like, a little unexpected because in years past it had been different, but I don't know. There's just a general whatever feeling right now, and we're really looking forward to getting these new products out and everything. But until we do, I want to give everybody a Christmas present this year, because there are those techs out there that have actually told me, and sorry, but can't do it because I need your software, but I need this software, or I need this other thing, and so have D7. Excuse me. Have D7 Premium on us for free this year for Christmas if you need it. We have, we're not going to update it and we're not going to support it. But if you go to foolishit.com/get D7, GET D7, you're not going to find the full page. You're just going to find a little shopping cart checkout, which only asks you for your name and email. The email address will be used to send you your product key, and the name field is entirely optional. We're not paying attention. We don't sell your email, and we rarely even send emails out promoting ourselves. So it's safe with us. But we did want to keep you informed on new products and maybe try to sell you D7.2 and D7X when it comes out too. Once you're using D7 to make more money, when you have that opportunity, when you have that business. So anyway, but yeah, there were some people that were just like, I'm going to go back and use D7 free. And, I was like, really? But, And we've had people go to D7 and then back to D7 where they've had D7 and then come back to D7 too, and but there's a big difference, and there's some technical issues with the original D7, just some fundamental things that were kind of wrong with the whole platform. That it's generally good at what it does, and actually right before the show, I mean, even today with all of the newer stuff, and even right before the show, Brantley was telling me, or it was Brantley or Michael was reading to me this nice thing that like apparently some nice old lady who's very knowledgeable is like the local computer tech, and this nice old lady wrote us and told us how she used
Johnny
these.
actually. That was Johnny actually.
Yeah.
That was John. I'm sorry.
Johnny
I'm
got
sorry,
a call
John.
about it.
She got a call about it, okay, and she told her, okay, well maybe you can tell the story better, but here's what I took from it. This nice old lady called us and told us that she had used D7 free and it worked like a champ. It was smooth. It did its job. It helped her remove the virus and save the day, and she wanted to know if there was anything with more features and I guess more stuff that or whatever that she could buy, I guess, to support and to do better at what she does, which is free tech work for other seniors or something. I didn't pay a lot of attention, but I was really heartwarmed when I heard it. Yeah. I was on the way out actually to get my son, but I was like, oh, we gotta do this, man. I was just talking about you, Johnny. Thank you for. Did you join in to tell us what she said? Johnny.
Johnny. You're muted.
I'll just assume that that's the case.
Yeah. Sounds. But yeah.
Hang on. Stop.
God, I would.
Anyway, I was just awfully heartwarmed, and I was like, well, we definitely got to go through with this and do it. I was like, send her a key, and we'll just tell everybody else, and we'll do the announcement. Actually, I'm going to do the announcement tomorrow. foolishit.com/get-d7. Well, like I said, we'll get you a blank page. But I mean, other than the little, I can get the free product key part, but then the I don't know, but I don't know where I was going with that. I just want y'all to have it. It's Merry Christmas.
Yeah, that's where you're going with this. Okay, yeah. and so any
there's a catch.
Anyone qualifies for that. What? Okay, go ahead.
Anyone does qualify, but there's a catch. D7, the original, is bound by a company name. It has to be, even D7 too, has to have a registered name that is bound with the product key and will not, if you change the name, then the product key will invalidate the license, and then the software will go back to the free edition. The thing that you've got to do is use the registered name powered by foolishit.com, because we do need some ads too. We need that free advertisement, we need that word of mouth, and we want more people to know about it. After all, D7 got its start by being free, so now we return it to its natural environment.
Yay! I'm digging it. I hope you guys are too.
And I guess the point is that actually got us really popular and where we are today. I mean, ultimately, is the fact that it was free software, that a certain amount of it at least was free, and honestly, I've been talking with Brantley and Proctor about this lately too. I kind of feel like D7X needs a free version as well, but I'm not making any promises. I have agreed not just to consider, but really to kind of implement. Details in and out may vary. The idea of a reduced, very reduced cost D7X when it comes out, but in that it kind of functions more like the original D7, in fact, and less like D7 in that there will be, at least, it will be less configurable, actually to the point of you'll have to kind of do what we configure it to do. but it'll be a good config. I mean, we're going to keep it up, and with community suggestions and other things like that, we'll maintain it. It'll kind of like the Tron guys, you know. Do that. I mean, and we'll maintain it, but it'll be, you know, our little value add thing, and that can be your little one button thing, if we can do that. A pre-configured well, actually, Glenn, D7X will have a default configuration. What I've decided to do and agreed to is a cheaper version of that just does not let you change that default configuration. So even the full blown will have a default configuration this time. Yeah, I learned my lesson there. Link to the tech list, shared whitelist. Oh man, we got some crazy ideas for that, but actually there's a lot to get into. We're actually 6 minutes over the hour on the show. I would even talk about this another minute, but there was one more thing, but I got to get back to I got my son this weekend, but and I just picked him up before the show. But the cool thing though is that there are D7.2 customers out there, and I'm going to go ahead and say this right now, that we're not going to like tomorrow's announcement, and this will be tomorrow's announcement because I'm not really going to do this now. I still got Wyatt. Just like I said, I just picked him up, so I wasn't able to finish the announcement properly like I wanted to, like I could explain to you verbally. So I'm going to finish that like late tonight or early in the morning and pump it out tomorrow. But the tech list. No, you don't. Well, a link to the. We'll talk about the link to the tech list. We'll talk about that. Actually, yeah. You should get the link to the tech list, even with the pre-configured cheaper D7X. Of course. But the tech directory we're talking about, foolishit.com/tech-directory. But it's another topic entirely. So D7.2 subscribers, some of them are going to hear this tomorrow's announcement. They're not going to be happy. And they're going to feel, or rather, a lot of D7 Premium people who paid for it. I mean, it happens. You pay for it. It's December 18th, 2015. I will just explain it to you this way. I started D7 in 2010 or 11. It went internet public in early 2011, I think April or ish. And then at some point viral before the end of the year. That was 2011, and now it's 2015. When I created even the original D7, almost 2016. Yeah, I'm sorry. When I created the original D7 and we did the premium thing. Well, the lifetime, and we did a lifetime thing, and that's who this comes at. The lifetime people who bought the quote-unquote lifetime license, and which the D7.2 subscribers now have a subscription model. But the D7 lifetime people or D-Cloud lifetime people may have some issue, but it's the thing is that I don't know, how do I put this? It was D7. It was $50 when we started, and those are the majority, the 50 to 100, 150 range people who paid for that, and not even counting the sales, are the ones that a lot of the ones that this is going to affect. What we did was we looked at the value at the time. I looked at the value. I say we now because there's a we, but it was I at the time. And I looked at the value because I always try to be fair, at least, and I take input, but I looked at the value of 2.5, I think, or it might have been 3, but I think I did 2.5 years of if I were to charge an annual subscription versus a lifetime consideration. So I based my lifetime fees on, I think, 2.5 years or maybe 3 years worth of regular fees. So it's kind of where we've had that for D7 now. But there are realistic problems with it now. It's not what it used to be. It's not the great thing that it was in 2011 because Windows has changed.
Well, and that's because
malware has changed.
That's what D7.2 is now. That's the great thing. And I don't think that
Thank you. I'm sorry.
I don't think that the D7 lifetime people will have that big of an issue, because if you are a D7 lifetime person and you're still using D7, contact
There's
us,
probably a reason for that.
you can get D7 too.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. Thank you, because I was going to forget that. We have anyone who has the D7 premium with you have to have a dCloud subscription. That's the rule. D7 was D7, but then dCloud was the server bits and the other thing, and that's where the lifetime license came in, was with the dCloud. It was all bundled in the dCloud thing forever. Those are actually the people the majority would affect is the dCloud lifetime people. Those people already have D7.2. We've contacted you earlier this year, like in Q1 or something. Maybe before, or definitely after, and then like once around the summertime maybe, and it was out in a newsletter, a couple of newsletters in a row, and then we did a something else recently. I'm being beckoned, but in any case, yes, you've already got D7.2. Just contact us. It's all been on the blogs. I'll be right out. Just a moment. It's already on the blog if you want to go by and look at the D7 news and stuff. But you've got D7.2 is part of your dCloud subscription, meaning if you have paid for dCloud lifetime and you have the lifetime right to dCloud, we want to put you on the D7.2. And get you off of D7. If you have a current dCloud subscription with D7 Premium, you're still paying us for dCloud. Just a minute! There's a lot of people out there that still have that and are still paying us for dCloud. Come get your D7.2 if you want it. The catch is it requires removal of the dCloud account. Not that we're really hurting for the server, the bandwidth or something, but we do want to migrate the server, and actually the main reason for this is dSupport Suite. With a lot of dSupport Suite clients, and there's a couple of people that just went out there, and they must be making some money with dSupport Suite, but that dCloud server's, man, old, and I want to get people to self-host. So if you actually agree to upgrade to D7.2, we get you off the dCloud server. If you're one of those people that use dSupport Suite, we will help you, give you instructions, and we'll help you if you run into any troubles with migrating that to a new server. Or hopefully, actually, by the time we really get ready to do that, the migration of the old server which is our last server on the original host I ever had, versus everything else, which has been through several others already until we found the best fit. But we got to do something about that. And there's a lot of traffic going to that. Shutting that thing down would be kind of major. So we're trying to narrow it.
I'd also like to throw out on the supporting the original D7. If you do get the D7 Premium and you want to talk to us on the show about it, we'll be more than happy to talk with you and work with you on things like that. We just won't be supporting it through our official routes through the ticket system, phone calls, or forums, or anything like that. But we won't have an issue talking about it while we're on the show. No, it's just. But I will say this. There will be no official support for this free version. Yeah. For the free license, there will be no official support, and there are no updates to D7. So it's called D7.2. It's actually a separate product, but it's a newer product, but it's the updated idea concept. All right. Which we're working on with. Michael has to run, and Nick, it sounds like you're.
I have to run too.
As well.
I've been beckoned, so it's.
Michael, before you run, check out this link, because that is one other thing that I found that was interesting. Since you found the EFF HTTPS anywhere again, they came out with another thing called seeing if your browser is safe against tracking, and you just run it in the browser, and it's kind of like one of those web scan things, but just checks and sees if your browser is blocking ads, or tracking with do not track, or fingerprinting. So interesting privacy results there. So. All right, so everyone.
Well, let me go.
Listen,
I'm gonna actually leave. You wrap it up. I'm gonna leave. Stop. You wrap it up. I'm gonna leave. Merry Christmas. I just want to say Merry Christmas, everybody. 'Tis the season for the reason, or something like that. Later on, guys.
Later, dude.
Later.
One thing to note about that site is that you don't necessarily want all the answers to be yes. Just understand what the information that it's giving you. For instance, the third item, does your browser unblock third parties that promise to honor do not track? Now, that's like good for advertising companies, but you may or may not, as an individual, want to do that based upon your particular privacy concerns or beliefs. And, you know, the fingerprinting thing, there's downsides to that, I would say. So, you know, before you consider that to be something that's, you know, harmful to you in some way, there is a reason for fingerprinting and other things. So just, again, take those things into consideration. Anyway, Brantley, though, otherwise a very good mention.
Yep. All right. So that is our show for today. We had a good announcement and some good talks. Later, Andy. Also, Andy, just to let you know, we have seen those pipe vapes. I actually know somebody that has one, and they really enjoy it. We just prefer the box mods a little bit more. And I like the Sir Lancelot that NetHunter gave me. A straight, unregulated mod. Extremely awesome. Thank you again, NetHunter, if you're still watching out there. And otherwise, I think that is our show for today. Thank you, everyone, for watching and joining in the chat and having some great discussions.
It was nice. Thank you.
We really appreciate y'all, and hope you enjoy the Christmas gifts. So if you already have D7.2, which a lot of you probably do, more than awesome. It's way better. You'll get D7X coming with that subscription as well. If you have friends that just do computer work on the side for their family and friends, let them know about D7 Premium being free. That's kind of the target audience that we're aiming for, that we know would like to have and see that. So that's what we're really going for there. Plus your startups and other people, if you know people getting into the business, great opportunity for them to have a great tech tool. We probably will have a show next week. We haven't really talked about it, but I think we're going to have a sale coming up as well. So we will probably have a show next week. I think it'll probably go up till Wednesday, your standard before Christmas break type thing, but we'll see how it goes. We don't really have much of a life outside of it, so I think maybe Christmas Day we'll probably all be busy, but at the worst, we'll have something going on. So
at the worst, the website will still function, and you can still come and then browse our wares and whatnot. But no, we'll be respecting tickets and those types of things. You know, but just give us a 24-hour turnaround time, particularly for that holiday in particular, because we do have members here that do observe it. You know, and we hope everybody can observe and take the time this time of year for their own thing and their own families, and not, you know, and balance work and otherwise. We know a lot of you are very dedicated out there, but we encourage you to take a little time off and spend it with your loved ones. I do, at least.
Definitely do that. And otherwise, yeah, again, thanks everyone for joining. We will be back on Monday, so at the worst, 8 a.m. Monday. Check us out. We'll probably have more of a game plan for the rest of the week then. And definitely jump in our IRC chat. If you haven't, you can join us at foolishtechshow.com and jump in there, or use your IRC client to connect. Details are on that same page. If you're watching YouTube, we'll have the links that we talked about in the description down below there. And otherwise, hope you all have a great weekend, and we will see you next week. Goodbye, internets.
Later.